Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna's heart pounded in her chest as she stood in the sterile, cold room, her hands trembling as she gripped the edge of the hospital bed. Her eyes, swollen from hours of crying, focused on Bill's stern expression. The man she had once trusted and loved now stood before her, his expression unwavering, his voice clipped and determined. The words he had just said echoed in her mind, each syllable a dagger piercing deeper into her soul. "I've made my decision, Luna," Bill said coldly. "This is the best thing for everyone." Luna's knees buckled and she sank to the edge of the bed, her hands instinctively cradling her stomach. The life growing inside her, the tiny heartbeat she'd heard just days before during her ultrasound, was the only thing keeping her grounded in this moment of despair. Her baby. Her everything. And now Bill wanted to take it away from her. "Please," she said softly, her voice breaking as tears streamed down her cheeks. "Please do not do this. Don't kill my baby." Bill's jaw tightened, his eyes flickering with something. Guilt, perhaps, or simply annoyance. He looked away, unable to meet her gaze. "Luna, you are young. You don't understand what this means for your future, mine and everyone else's. This isn't just about you. Not about me." Luna's voice rose, full of anguish and disbelief. "Bill, this is my child. My baby. How can you stand there and act as if you are closing a business deal? This is life." Her words hung in the air, heavy and raw, but Bill made no response. He paced the small room, his polished shoes clicking on the linoleum floor. Luna's mind raced, replaying the previous few months, trying to pinpoint the exact moment when everything went horribly wrong. It had begun with love, or what she thought was love. Bill had been charming, powerful, and appeared to have the entire world at his fingertips. When they first met, Luna was swept away by his confidence, promises, and the way he made her feel like she was the only one in the room. She was young, naive, and desperate for someone to see and value her. Bill had done that for a while. But then she told him about her pregnancy. She had expected joy, or at least a semblance of excitement. Instead, his face had darkened, and the warmth she had previously seen in his eyes had vanished. He'd started talking about options and consequences, which felt strange and cruel in the context of the life growing inside her. Luna had tried to reason with him, convincing him that this baby was a gift, an opportunity for them to create something real together. But Bill made it clear that he didn't want this child. He did not want her. Now they were in this cold hospital room, Bill's decision looming over her like a guillotine. Luna's hand shook as she wiped away her tears, her voice trembling but firm. "I won't allow you to do this, Bill. I will not let you take my baby away from me." Bill paused his pacing and turned to face her, his expression unreadable. "Luna, you aren't thinking clearly. You're not prepared for this. You are barely able to care for yourself, let alone a child. And me? I am not cut out to be a father. Not now, maybe never." His words cut deeper than she expected. Luna had always known Bill was older and more experienced, but she had never felt as small or insignificant as she did in that moment. "You don't get to decide that," she said, her voice growing stronger despite the tears. "This is my body, my decision, and my baby. You can't take that away from me." Bill's eyes narrowed, and Luna thought she saw a glint of anger. "Do you think you can do this on your own?" he inquired, his tone low and dangerous. "Do you think you can raise a child with no money, support, or stability? Be realistic, Luna. You're preparing yourself for a lifetime of struggle." Luna's heart ached, but she refused to give in. "I'd rather struggle every day of my life than let you destroy the one thing that gives me hope." The door to the room flew open and Finn stormed in, his face flushed with fury. His gaze shifted between Luna and Bill, taking in the scene, the tears streaming down Luna's cheeks, the tension in Bill's posture. Finn had been Luna's friend for years, the one she could always rely on, even when everything seemed to be falling apart. He'd been the one to drive her to the hospital after she called him in a panic, pleading for someone to be by her side. "What the hell's going on here?" Finn demanded, his voice booming through the small room. He took a protective step in front of Luna, his broad shoulders blocking Bill's view of her. "Are you okay, Luna?" Luna shook her head, her voice barely audible. Finn's eyes widened as he turned to Bill, his fists clenched at his sides. He wants me to get rid of the baby. Is this true? You're trying to make her do this? Bill raised his hands, his tone defensive. I am not forcing anyone. I'm trying to make her see reason. This is not the appropriate time, Finn. Finn twisted his face in disgust. Reason? You are talking about a human life, Bill. Luna's life and her child's life. You cannot play God simply because you do not want to face the consequences of your actions. Bill's composure broke, and he took a step toward Finn, his voice rising. You have no idea what you are talking about, Finn. This is not your business. Stay out of it. It became my business the moment Luna called me crying and begging for help. Finn exclaimed, his voice shaking with rage. Do you think you can simply bully her into doing what you want? Do you think you can scare her into giving up her child? You're pathetic. Luna watched the two men, her heart torn between gratitude for Finn's help and the crushing weight of Bill's treachery. She felt like she was drowning, and the walls of the room were closing in on her. However, Finn's presence gave her strength, reminding her that she was not alone in this fight. Finn, she said softly, reaching out and touching his arm. Thank you. But I have to do it myself. Finn turned to her, his expression softening. Luna, you don't need to face him alone. I am here for you. I understand, she said, her voice steady despite the tears. But it's my fight. I need to stand up for my baby. Finn hesitated, then nodded, stepping back but remaining close, his presence a silent promise of help. Luna turned to Bill, her eyes full of determination. I am keeping this baby, Bill. I do not care what you say, think, or do. This is my child, and I will do everything in my power to protect them. Bill stared at her, frustrated and resigned. Luna had a fleeting thought that he might argue and push her even further. Then he sighed and ran his hand through his hair. You are making a mistake, Luna. But if this is what you want, I'm out of here. He turned and walked out of the room, the door slamming behind him. Luna's knees gave out, and she collapsed onto the bed, her body shaking with sobs. Finn was by her side in an instant, wrapping his arms around her and holding her while she cried. It's okay, he said softly but firm. You aren't alone, Luna. You've got both me and your baby. We'll figure this out together. Luna clung to him, tears soaking his shirt as the weight of the moment fell on her. She had no idea what the future held, or how she would face the challenges that lay ahead. But in that moment, with Finn's arms around her and the tiny life inside her, she knew she was going to fight for her child no matter what. The days after were a blur of fear and determination. Luna left the apartment she shared with Bill, refusing to stay in a place that held so many painful memories. Finn helped her find a small studio apartment that she could afford with her limited savings. It wasn't much, but it was hers. A place where she could start to build a life for herself and her baby. Finn was there every step of the way, assisting her with her move, bringing her groceries when she was too tired to go shopping, and accompanying her to doctor's appointments. He never asked for anything in return or made her feel like a burden. His friendship provided a lifeline, reminding her that there were still good people in the world who believed in her. But the pain of Bill's betrayal lingered, like a wound that refused to heal. Luna would lie awake at night, her hand resting on her growing belly, wondering how she had ever trusted him, how she had allowed herself to believe he loved her. She replayed their conversations, looking for clues she'd missed, moments when she could have discovered the truth. But Bill had never been the man she believed he was. He'd been a mirage, a promise of something that didn't exist. Luna's resolve strengthened over the months. She got a job at a local bookstore, a quiet place where she could escape into stories when the world became too heavy. The owner, an elderly woman named Clara, took Luna under her wing and shared stories about her own struggles as a single mother decades ago. Clara's kindness and quiet strength inspired Luna to believe that she could do it, that she could be the mother her child deserved. Finn remained a constant presence, but Luna started to notice a shift in him. When he looked at her, he had soft eyes and a warm smile that he hadn't had before. She tried to ignore it because she was afraid to hope for something more, to trust again. But Finn was patient, never pushing or asking for more than she was willing to give. Finn reached across the table and took her hand one evening while they were eating takeout in her small apartment. Luna, he said, his voice low and steady. I understand you have been through hell. I understand you're scared. I want you to know that I am not just a friend, but someone who cares about you. Luna's breath caught and her heart raced as she met his gaze. For the first time in months, she felt a spark of something she hadn't felt since before Bill. Hope. Not only for her baby, but also for herself, for a future free of pain. I don't know if I'm ready, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. But I want to try. Finn smiled, gently squeezing her hand. That's all I need to hear. As her due date approached, Luna experienced a mixture of fear and excitement. The nursery was small, just a corner of her apartment with a crib Finn helped her put together. But it was full of love. She had painted the walls a soft yellow, hung a star-studded mobile above the crib, and placed a stuffed bear, a gift from Clara, on the small mattress. When the big day arrived, Finn was there, holding her hand through each contraction and whispering encouraging words as she welcomed her daughter into the world. When Luna held her baby, a tiny perfect girl with a shock of dark hair, she knew every moment of pain, every tear had been worthwhile. She named her Hope as a reminder of her inner strength and the love she had fought for. Bill never responded, never reached out, and Luna was glad. She didn't need him anymore. She had Hope, Finn, Clara, and herself. A woman who had overcome the unimaginable and emerged stronger. Years later, Luna would reflect on that day in the hospital room when she begged Bill not to take her baby from her. She'd remember the fear and despair, as well as the moment she found her voice and strength. She'd tell Hope about it one day, not to dwell on the pain, but to demonstrate that no matter how bad things got, there was always a way out and a reason to fight. And as she watched Hope grow, laughing and running through the park with Finn chasing her, Luna knew she had made the right decision. She had chosen love, not only for her daughter, but for herself. That, she realized, was the most significant victory of all. Luna stood in the dim hallway of the Spencer mansion, her heart pounding so hard she was afraid it would burst from her chest. She could hear Bill's heavy footsteps behind the closed door, echoing through the walls like a judgment. She clutched her stomach, trembling, the weight of the secret she was carrying pressing down on her like a vice. She only found out she was pregnant a few hours ago, after a flurry of anxiety and late-night tests. In the darkness, the test result glowed positively. She ran to confirm it again, her eyes misting with disbelief, hope, and fear all at once. And now she was alone, cornered and anguished, waiting to confront the man who possessed the power to destroy her future. Bill burst through the door, his face a mask of rage and surprise. He glared at Luna, his posture rigid, and the room seemed to shrink under his tension. Luna's knees threatened to buckle, but she held them firm, steeling herself. "You lied to me," Bill said, his voice low and controlled but full of rage. "How could you hide this? Who is the father, Luna? This had better not be a ruse." Luna's throat tightened. "Bill, it's real. I took 3 tests. They all came back positive." She raised the stick in her hand as a talisman against his scorn. Bill approached her, aware of the cold marble beneath his shoes. "Do you think I will accept this? Do you think I'll let you drag the Spencer name into scandal? If you truly care about Will Spencer, this must stop right now." Luna's eyes welled up with tears. "Please do not ask me to. Don't make me do it." She swallowed hard. "Please don't kill my baby." The words slipped out before she could catch them, raw and desperate, laden with motherhood's fierce protectiveness. Bill's face froze. A flicker of surprise and disbelief passed through his eyes. He exhaled sharply and his jaw tightened. "You cannot talk like that. You don't get to threaten me." "Bill, I'm pleading with you," Luna said quietly, her voice shaking. "I am begging you. You can't make me." He interrupted her with a firm shake of his head. "If you love Will, you will terminate. You will end the pregnancy. That is how you prove your loyalty." She staggered back as if struck by his words. "Terminate?" Her voice was small and incredulous. "You can't force me to kill my baby." Bill's eyes darkened. "Do not turn this around on me. I'm giving you an option, a way out for all of us. Let it die quietly. Don't cause scandal, chaos, or ruin for my family." He motioned vehemently. "Do this and maybe I can help you. You refuse, and every door closes." Luna clenched her hands at her sides. The room felt suffocating with the walls leaning in. She considered the life within her, something fragile, innocent and vulnerable. Her vision became blurry with tears. "I'm not having an abortion," she stated, her voice quivering but determined. "You cannot force me. I won't do it." Bill laughed, cruel, low and hollow. "You think you have a choice?" He stepped forward. "Are you aware of what I've done before? Do you know how far I will go to protect my family? You're playing a dangerous game, Luna." At that point, the door slammed open. Finn charged in, eyes wild, chest rising and falling. Luna briefly thought she was hallucinating. A savior had arrived just in time. Finn was her ex indeed. But more than that, he cared. Someone she could still plead with. "Don't you dare touch her," Finn warned, stepping between Bill and Luna. His posture was rigid and protective. Bill whirled on him. "Don't you dare. You have no say here, Finn." Finn set his jaw. "I have equal say as this child. You will not bully her. You won't force her. You will not." He paused, noticing the test stick in Luna's hand. A realization flashed across his face. Pregnancy. He looked at Luna, then back at Bill, shock and fury roiling in his eyes. "Were you aware she was pregnant?" Finn demanded. "You knew but didn't tell me?" Luna's throat closed. She shakes her head. "I did not. I was terrified." Bill sneered. "You hide, you manipulate, and now you try to drag everyone into your drama." He stepped away from Finn. "This is not your business," Finn asserted, his voice trembling but fierce. "It's now. You'll respect her decision. She has the right to this child. You will not threaten her life. Rather, you will threaten her with forced termination." Bill turned back to Luna, breathing heavily. "You're going to ruin everything." His tone became cold and surgical. "Do you know what? I had previously completed the necessary tasks. You crossed lines that you didn't even know existed." Luna backed away, trembling. She looked between the two men, one demanding that her life be ended and the other fighting to preserve her autonomy. Her lips trembled as she attempted to speak, but no sound emerged. Finn pushed forward. "I'm done standing by. I refuse to watch you terrorize her. Luna, if you want, I'll take you somewhere safe." His gaze shifted to the door, then back to Bill. "You back off. You leave her alone." Bill approached Finn. "So what will you do, Doctor? Playing hero? You think you understand how it works?" Finn's eyes sparkled. "Better than you've ever done. I'm not going to let fear and control rule her life again." A long, heavy silence filled the room. Bill's hand trembled and his lips parted. Luna closed her eyes and braced herself. Suddenly, Bill threw the test on the floor, shattering it. "You're making a mistake." His voice was low and dangerous. He approached Luna, his hand raised. "I won't let my legacy be torn apart," Luna sobbed. She shielded her stomach. Finn lunged and grabbed Bill's arm. They grappled. The room echoed with the sounds of impact. A vase shattering, a chair scraping, and glass sprinkling like rain. "No!" Luna screamed. She felt a trembling in her stomach, panic ripping through her core. She cried out, "Stop! Stop it!" Finn yanked Bill backward, pushing him towards the door. Bill glared back at Luna before bolting out, slamming the door and rattling the frame.